Okay, so again, this is the initial sketch with the drop shadow and just showing some of the perspective lines, but going through this with just the kind of the isometric section and the orthogonal cube that they talk about. There it is in a linear piece, which we'll come back to, and showing it in color. So just whatever layer you have, just go to the top and create a new section, and in the selection tool, the marquee, just take a rectangular shape, pick a color, any color that you want to use, and just hit Option Delete. It fills it with that color. Okay. If you come over on the mouse with the Move tool, which is the letter V, if you Option and click while it's selected, you'll notice over here it keeps everything on the same layer. So just to make it easy, I'm just going to deselect it under Select, Deselect, and now do the Option, and it puts it on its own layer. Nice thing about that is I can go in and grab a different color and just hit Option Delete. If I hit Option Delete, it fills the entire window. Edit, Undo, Command C is the same. There's the Command keystroke. So when I do Option Delete, it's going to be the foreground color. Include the Shift key in there first, and then just hit it, and it'll put the background. Option Shift Delete does the foreground color. And then I'm just going to put one more up here with a light yellow. Okay, so again, there's 3 layers. I can go back in if I want to make them darker, just so I have 3 sections to it. Okay, so as I move this, I have to have the layer selected over here in order to move that one. Or with this selection tool, click Auto Select, and that's going to actually move whatever layer you click on. Wherever you click the mouse, it's going to jump to whatever pixel that is on that layer. So just a crash course in the Edit Transform. You have Free Transform, so we'll just start off with that one. And this is going to let you transform images like that. If I go to Edit, Transform, and Distort, or Perspective, I'll just do Distort and Skew. So we'll start off with Skew. And that just changes this up this direction. Okay. Anywhere you do that, but I just want to keep it straight just to keep it going. Either hit the Return key or this checkbox. Okay. Auto Select is still on, so I'm just going to put this up right up against here. Use the arrow keys to move it incrementally into the pixel size. And do the same thing. Go to Edit, Transform. I'm going to do the Skew again. And notice I'm on the, click on this handle. If you grab the point, it'll do that part of it. If you grab this midpoint, it'll do the whole page there. Okay, and I can also just go Command T to get to Transform, and that'll take it out of the Skew section and let me angle it that way so I can make it a little more rectangular. Either hit Return or the checkbox. Auto Select is on, so it lets me take this yellow part and put it right there. Okay. There are keystrokes. If you just hold the Command key, it'll toggle through so that you can do the Skew tool. And you can just do the same here. So I'm just using the keystroke this time. And Shift key that piece in there. So now I have this rectangular shape, somewhat in perspective. If again I have the Auto Select, so I click on this green part, undo that. Anytime you move something, it's always good, instead of trying to put it back yourself, is just to undo it, puts it exactly where it was. Command T for Free Transform, and then Command key just to move this up a bit so I can, and the Shift key keeps it straight up and down. And hit Return. So there you pretty much have the box. If you want to make a cast shadow, then go to the tool right below it, which is the Polygon Lasso tool. And what happens, I'll come down at the bottom, get a new layer. Just type in shadow on the name, hit Return, and see if I can't just click and simulate the shadow. When I deselect this, you'll see what happens. If I double click, it creates this shape, and the option allows me to take some pieces away. Goes off the pasteboard there. And that'll just give me a gray, so I select the light gray and option delete, Command D to deselect, and now I have a little cast shadow. I'll fix it a little bit. Again, the direct selection here. Take the paintbrush tool, and when you see what's happening, it just goes all over the place. Make sure I'm on that layer, which is the green one. I drop to click on that color. Place this, click on that image, it brings up the color picker. I'm going to go a little darker. And click B for brush. So now I'm going to paint this section. You can see it's gone over the edge. So undo that. In the layers panel over here, you have these options on the left right at the top. Lock the pixels, transparent pixels. So that means the transparent ones are locked. And now I can use this paintbrush. Use the bracket keys to make the brush. The cap locks makes it a diameter of the brush or just a plus sign. And up at the top, I'm just going to change the opacity down a little bit just to give it a tone. Now I'm going to start jumping through some keys. The V selection, it's still auto select. So I'm on the yellow layer. I for eyedropper to get that color. Click on this to just get a little darker value. B for the brush, I still have this soft edge brush. Clicking up into here. And just lock these pixels. So now I'm just toning the far back so the contrast against the light surface back there. Do the same with the blue. Eyedrop a little bit. Get a little darker value. Click so that's locking the pixels up there. B for the brush. And I can just subtly change the top of that one. Okay. V key again, grab the shadow down here. For temporarily, I'm going to lock the pixels. Just going to grab a gray up at the top and just shadow that in there. I'm going to unlock the transparent pixels right there. And just go to Filter, Blur and Gaussian. We're familiar with that from Illustrator, so I'm just going to blur a little bit of it. Click OK. And then go in the tool to get the blur tool. And just blur some of this edge. All the settings are up at the top. And there you have it, just kind of giving you a quick overview of this part. Gradient here. Just checking a little gradient in the background.